Hello and welcome to Daily Politics, reaching you from Trust TV here in Abuja. I am Suleiman. Today we discuss the security situation in the political heart of Nigeria, Abuja. Abuja is not only the nation's capital, it is also the seat of federal power. All three arms of government are located here. The president and his ministers live here. The National Assembly is also here. The Federal Civil Service and the Supreme Court are all here. The foreign diplomatic missions and the United Nations organizations are all here. Many multilateral and international organizations like ECOWAS are also here. This is why it is called the Center of Unity. One will think then that with this high number of VIPs in just one location, the security arrangement of Abuja and the FCT will be watertight and impenetrable. But is it? But the general insecurity in the country has also affected Abuja and the FCT. Just last week, kidnappers stormed the staff quarters of lecturers of the University of Abuja. 4 lecturers and 2 children were abducted, although they have now been freed. But before then, even an imam and 2 of his sons were kidnapped in Kwali Area Council. Many residents in the satellite towns have also resorted to self-help. They have formed vigilante groups across the area councils, especially in places like Abaji and Kuje, where kidnapping is supposed to be on the rise. The Abuja-Kaduna road has also become a danger zone again, and nearby states like Niger, Nasarawa, and Kogi also have security issues of their own. Only a few months ago, the late Army Provost Marshal, Veteran Affairs of the Nigerian Army, Major General Hussein Ahmad, was killed by an armed gang along Lokoja-Abuja Road. So does all this make the notion of Abuja as a secured and safe place a myth? The security of the Federal Capital Territory is our focus on today's show. And with me in the studio today are 2 experts on matters of security. My first guest is Dr. Sani Aliu, a security and safety expert. He is the Commandant General of the Neighborhood Enlightenment and Safety Organization, NESO. And my second guest is Salihu Dantata Mahmoud, a security analyst who himself has once been a victim of the security situation in the country. But before the discussions, let's take a minute and bring you politics in the news.
The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has fixed Tuesday, November 9 for a supplementary election in Ihiala local government area of Anambra State. Returning officer for Saturday's governorship election in the state, Professor Florence Obi, announced this in the early hours of Monday. The decision to hold supplementary elections in Ihiala local government area follows the failure of INEC to conduct elections there on Saturday. According to Professor Obi, this failure was due to security challenges which made it impossible for the electoral body to deploy materials and personnel in the local government area. Ihiala is the only one of Anambra's 21 local government areas where elections could not hold. Results were announced for all other local government areas, with the candidate of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, Charles Soludo, winning in 18 of the 20 local government areas for which results were declared. And still on Anambra election, a preliminary report by Center for Democracy and Development (CDD) on Saturday's governorship election in Anambra has alleged widespread vote buying by political parties across the state. Speaking at a news conference in Abuja, CDD Director of Research Saeed Hussain claimed that most of the electoral crimes were committed with security operatives looking the other way. This is even as he noted that CDD observers reported malfunctioning of the beavers in Ayamelum local government area, with 3 polling units affected. According to him, INEC resorted to the use of manual methods of accreditation and voting in some polling units in Awka South, Awka North, Idemili North, Idemili South, and Anambra West local government areas of the state. And away from Anambra State, the gale of impeachment rocking the Imo State House of Assembly continued on Monday with the removal of the Speaker, Paul Emeziam. There was drama at the chamber when 6 lawmakers led by impeached Deputy Speaker Amara Iwanyanwu invaded the House and impeached Emeziam. MSM had last week led 18 members of the House impeach Inwanyawu. The minority lawmakers therefore elected the ranking member Kennedy Ibe as the new speaker. Ibe represents Obawo State constituency. He was first at the parliament in 2015 and was re-elected in 2019 and was one of the 6 lawmakers suspended on July 8 for what was termed unparliamentary conduct. Before taking the action, the complex was barricaded by security men who barred assembly staff, lawmakers and their aides from gaining access to the complex. The session, which lasted for less than 15 minutes, ended after Ibe assumed office as the Speaker of the House.
Welcome back. This is Politics, Daily Politics, and let's now get to the discussion proper. Thank you, first of all, gentlemen, for coming on the show at such short notice.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
So I start with you. Why is the neighborhood important to security and safety?
Well,
because the challenges that we're talking about are places that we can say are neighbors to Abuja.
Well, first of all, like you rightly put it, whether Abuja is safe, it's a very serious question to ask.
Okay.
If you want to declare a place safe, you start by its surrounding neighborhoods.
Okay.
And if you look at Niger, what is happening in Niger is just a stone throw to Abuja, you will say there's a problem. If you look at Kogi is a bit safer, but there's still a problem. If you look at Kaduna is not safe, it's a problem area. If you now look at Nasarawa is a problem area. Now, Abuja is in the center, and for all intent and purposes, Abuja is the hub of the country. I remember some times back, during the campaign of Boko Haram, the United States of America Embassy, through their military attaché, came to my office and asked if Abuja is safe, because the Americans want to take the decision of taking their office back to Lagos. And then I declared to him that Abuja is safe. Because,
so would you say the same now?
Because no, this time around, that collaboration between us and the Nigerian army is not working again. At that time, we were everywhere working in collaboration with the Nigerian army. We fishing out Boko Haram from Nasarawa.
When you say we, do you mean your organization?
Neighborhood Enlightenment and Safety Organization, NESO,
okay,
and the Nigerian military were working very closely hand in hand. We helped them to fish out Boko Haram from Nasarawa, Kaduna, Kano, even within Apo, within Gwarempa, and some close areas within the Abuja metropolis. We were on ground, we were on top of the situation, and so it was easier for them to approach us, the American embassy, through their military attaché, and we declared to them that Abuja is safe, nothing is going to happen, because we are too sure of our activities, including Suleja here, some close areas where we have problems. Now, is it the same thing? Is it happening? No, it's not happening. That collaboration, that effective collaboration between us and the Nigerian army is no longer there. Maybe the way they hand over is not proper, because I expect that when the chief of army is going, he should help the other chief to tell him that why we are achieving what we are achieving. These are the guys, these are the people, this is the group of persons we are using in order to achieve.
So now we know that one of the problems is the lack of collaboration between security organizations in the state and those of the federal government. But maybe we go to the very core of the issue. Do you think there is a security threat to Abuja? And if you do so, to what extent is this threat the same or different from security threats in other parts of the country? A lot of things are going problems we're having in Zamfara, in Katsina, and many other states. Would it be the same if it were in Abuja?
Well, just like you highlighted, Abuja has a lot of important people, including other well-meaning Nigerians, because we have to operate the policy of live and let's live. If we say Abuja is not threatened, then we are trying to be afraid of certain people, and we can never be sycophantic. Mind you, in Niger, in close by suburbs, Madala, there has been regrouping of fleeing armed bandits from Zamfara, and some are even staged and tagged as even ardent ISWAP members. With the community reports to certain intelligence arms of the police, including the DSS, no action has been taken until they struck in some parts of Madala. Above all, there has been increased rate of kidnap-related cases in Kwali Area Council. I know of Gaube, I know of Pasali, then also some villages under Abaji Area Council, Tungamaje under Gwagwalada Area Council, and even some neighboring towns between the Nyanya axis and Nasarawa states that borders the Federal Capital Territory. The issues have been superiority and inferiority complex, like
between who and
between the security agencies and people that complement their efforts, like NESO.
Okay.
Like he highlighted, that is the same system where people feel because they got the regimented training, there are certain people that don't need to complement their. It doesn't work that way. Even with the existence of CIA, FBI, and other security agencies in America, aftermath of 9/11, they came up with what you call Homeland Security to complement the efforts of the already existing ones. So if we must get it right, then we must give the opportunity to certain experts, like NESO boss has given this explanation. The defense authorities, the police authorities, the paramilitary authorities have this attitude. Rather, they will bring in people from Israel, from all these Arab countries and other Russian and other countries to share certain things via corruption. Henceforth, if we must promote achieving internal security within Federal Capital Territory, then certain external collaborations must be upheld and enhanced.
Dr. Sani, let's move from the issues that he's talking about to the politics of security, because the reason we're talking about the federal, the seat of federal power, the Federal Capital Territory of Nigeria here, is the security situation here, is it different or the same from that of any other state? For example, the like I said earlier, states in the south, in the northwest, they have been going through this kind of issues. Is Abuja any different from these places?
Well, as far as I'm concerned,
Abuja is different political dimension to the security situation.
Abuja doesn't really have anything in place, except that you may think that some of the agencies are not working, but we know that they work. The only thing is that they get overwhelmed. When you look at the size of the country and the problems that abound, security breaches almost all over the places in the country, and you want to ask what is the size of Nigeria, about 923,000 square kilometers, and then you want to ask what is the population of Nigeria. You want to talk about 200 million people, and then you want to ask what is the security population of Nigerian security. They are less than 1 million. And you want to see Nigeria as a big joke, a very huge big joke.
Why is it so?
Less than 1 million people to secure 200 million people living in 923,000 square kilometers. Huge joke. There is nothing like technological, electronical or technological support. There is nothing that is helping this. Our security agencies, they don't have any technological support as far as fighting insecurity is concerned in the country. And then they too have their own inferiority complex within the agency. There is no collaboration. There is no proper collaboration. The Nigerian Army is seen itself as the almost matter of the whole. And the Nigerian police is saying civil defense as a non-entity. The civil defense, there is no interagency cooperation.
Okay.
If the agency cannot even cooperate, talk less of people like us that are out there to give the support, putting our life on line for the love of our nation without any benefit from any side, from anywhere coming. You want to be surprised that the United States of America, through the Pentagon House, came to see us in Nigeria. They paid visit to NATO office in Nigeria. You want to be surprised that the EU, European Union, paid visit to NATO office in Nigeria. And there is no one single Nigerian element, either from any government side, that ever paid visit. Excuse me.
To reach out to them.
No. That ever paid visit to Nigeria.
Because you cannot sit in your office and expect them to come.
The issue is
you are representing neighborhoods.
The issue is 90% of those you hear of civilian JTF. 90% of the membership of the civilian JTF are my boys. 90% are NATO boys. Now, if the American could understand and the EU could understand and look for us, our government, for once, have never looked for us. And we are not that people that will go to National Assembly looking for recognition. We are not. The government should appreciate what we are doing, the selfless service we are giving to our motherland. We have lost a lot of our boys in the course of giving Nigerians safety. No compensation coming from anywhere. Not even a single recognition from the arm of the government.
That's okay.
It's shocking.
Mr. Mahmoud, the discussion today, frankly speaking, is about the threat to security as in Abuja as the seat of the federal capital, Well, issues to maybe the disappointments that they may have with the government, they may be important, but really the issue is much broader than that. The angle that I'm looking to engage you with as a security analyst. We have the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in this town. We have the Senate President here. We have the Speaker of the House here. We have the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court here. We have virtually everyone here. And yet, the town is cordoned off by places that are not themselves insecure. To what extent does that pose a threat to the seat of the government?
Well, if we can vividly recall, during late General Sani Abacha, head of state and commander-in-chief, outside having the FCT Commissioner of Police, AIG is on 7, the Gas Brigades Commander of the Gas Brigades, as well as Naval Unit Commandant and heads of other agencies. The Chief Security Officer, Major Hamza Al-Mustafa, normally, through his strike force and other bodyguards, carry out independent surveillance and observation patrol. Severally, because at that time I live in Aso Drive while I was still coming up, number 17 to be precise. You can see the movement of the GMCs, of the strike force. In this GMC, not only men of the Nigerian Army, you have combination of the Nigerian Police Criminal Investigation Department, the MOPOL that guards the villa, and other representations from Navy, Air Force that are especially from the intelligence arm. Today, we no longer have that. What are the reasons? The reasons are every arm of the security agency wants to demonstrate to the National Security Advisor, wants to demonstrate to Commander-in-Chief that I am the one that is doing this job, which has made this task not to be accomplished.
So there's no collaboration.
Forgetting the fact that the Commander-in-Chief is carrying that name because they exist as agencies of the armed forces, police, paramilitary, and even DSS and host of others. When there is showmanship, when there is loss of synergy, you find out that the miscreants, the unscrupulous elements, as well as the dissidents gain momentum. And that is what is happening now. When you look at the axis of Abaji, it is neighboring Kogi State.
Yes.
You come to the axis of Nasarawa, from Nyanya Maraba is Nasarawa State. Come to area of Madalla, Zuba is area of Niger State.
Yes.
And today you have armed bandits in abandoned wildlife forests in Niger State. You also have in areas of Toto in Nasarawa. During the past administration of Adamu Mohammed Abubakar as Inspector General of Police, a lot of onslaught was carried out against these fleeing Boko Haram insurgents from Maiduguri and other areas to Nasarawa State. Today, that has become story. A lot of warnings were given to the security agencies to procure flight hour drones. There are drones that can sustain about 8 hours flying, covering the vicinity and giving reports and also where are they? No. Secondly, there was international counterpart funding from China International Corporation during the Bala Mohammed administration as minister to install CCTVs in FCT. The skeletal ones that are they functioning? So that my big brother said, the combat operation, yes, is key. In modern day fighting against terrorism and banditry and other criminal elements, you also need gadgets, modern technology to be able to gather intelligence information.
Okay. So, Dr. Sani, your organization particularly deal with the people in the grassroots. Where are we seeing things like abductions of lecturers at the University of Abuja, kidnappings in Kuje, kidnappings in nearby Suleja here, and so on?
This is because there is no intelligence. If you remember, the president says you can't achieve nothing without intelligence. Intelligence is the key as a stopgap to all this insecurity campaign all over the country. How do you get intelligence? When the police today, unfortunately, they lack training. Unfortunately. I remember I was having a program in Kogi State. As soon as I drove into the area for program, one plainclothes officer came to meet me. Sir, I understand you are the CCGS. I said, yes, I am. He said, well, I am a police CID. I was sent to come and cover and see what you people are doing here. Does it make sense? As an undercover officer, you are not supposed to identify yourself to anybody. When you are sent to an institution to carry out an undercover operation, there is no need for anybody in that institution, in whatever name, to identify you as an undercover agent. But what we are having today are untrained people that are allowed to continue giving us security.
But intelligence normally comes from neighborhoods, isn't it? Normally from people, because, for example, in many countries, even taxi drivers are part of the intelligence network.
I'm taking you there.
Okay.
Once you are not connected, you are just not connected. Like my organization, we have nail cutters, we have taxi drivers, we even have shoemakers, we have all strata of the society you are thinking about. We have our boys there that are giving us information. How were we able to counter the Boko Haram when they abducted the university professors in Maiduguri? It was through our local intelligence that we were able to, within the period, counter and rescue some of the professors within the same period. You understand what I'm saying? It's all about intelligence. But are they giving priority to intelligence? That is the situation. Where you are supposed to get your collaborative intelligence network, you don't associate with it. And we in my organization, we are having over 70,000 members. We are on almost every side of the society. We are bigger than we are.
70,000 members.
70,000 youths. We are bigger than civil defense. But we are not. We are underutilized. Nobody is utilizing that intelligence part. This is an area where you are supposed to utilize so that you are getting the real intelligence and you are no movement of all these things. Now, I'll tell you one example. When ISWAP came into Nigeria, we were the first people to give the report. When they came in from Kano, they came through Kano to Kaduna, Birnungwari. We were given that report. They came in with 3 Hilux buses. 3 Hilux. We gave the reports that we are, and they are all looking like Tuaregs. They are not like so. Nigerians. That was the earlier time when they were looking for a base. They went through Birnungwari and came out from Kebbi, and like that through Sokoto, Zamfara. That is when they discovered the connectivity of the bush from Niger State here, Kaduna, up to Zamfara. That's where they got the network.
So, Malim, that brings us to one of the issues here. Is there a linkage between the security threat
that we're talking about in FCT, or the security situation, the kidnappings that you have in the FCT, in Suleja, in Abaji, in Kuje, and now in Gwagwalada? Is there a link between those ones and the ones we are seeing elsewhere in the northern states, not central, not western states like Katsina, Niger, Sokoto and Zamfara states? Is there any link between the various actors? Is it that the bandits there are the ones coming here, or is it that the kind of kidnappings and abductions that are happening, such as that happened at the University of Abuja recently, are they different from the ones there?
Well, they have a link and collaboration. Mohammed, that was arrested in one of the towns in Niger State, that even the government of Niger State have demolished his house, is linked to past armed banditry in Niger State. He does both kidnapping as well as armed banditry. Their supply chain of money has been cut off by the federal government. Now
what's their supply chain?
They have their initial supply chain where sometimes through international transfers, collaboration, whatever. So the stiff measures taken by the Apex Bank has stabbed a lot of them with funds. For that, they had to resort to kidnap-related cases and other issues in order to raise money for their fueling, other logistics, and host of others. So we cannot rule out the strong ties between the fleeing armed bandits in Zamfara, Katsina, as well as insurgents in some suburbs of Borno and Yobe states to Niger State and neighboring towns that are having borders with the FCT. Because when you look at kidnappers and armed bandits, they go almost the same way. Therefore, the issues here are the security agencies, even though we know when you talk about internal security, it is the constitutional responsibility of the Nigerian police, to an extension, Department of State Services and other paramilitary agencies. It is when it blows out of proportion that you now bring in the members of the armed forces, the Army, Navy, and Air Force, respectively.
In Abuja here specifically, how is the security network? Because Abuja also has this special situation. It doesn't have a governor. It has
a minister. And the minister
answers to the president
and commander-in-chief.
So, thank you. So, who is the chief security officer of Abuja? Is it the president or the minister or the National Assembly? Because the National Assembly is responsible for the appropriation and budgets of...
Well, the president has delegated the powers to the FCT minister, and that made the minister to always chair the periodical Security Council meeting that has composition of the police, the Guards Brigades of the Nigerian Army, the Department of State Services, the Immigration, Prison, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, and others.
Watch committee. I'll get back to you just as a neighborhood watch committee. Are you part of that meeting that he is talking about?
No, unfortunately, no. And it would be funny for you to realize that we even wrote the minister. I even met with the minister's SA security, and I gave them our profile. They don't care. Let me tell you. It pains me a lot when you begin to see people that are supposed to be more concerned about the safety and security of their people not giving a hoot about it, forgetting that they have entered a contract with Nigerian citizens based on the constitutional arrangement that the security of life and property is the priority of the government of the day, any government. But today, you will see us approaching them, begging them. Let me tell you one scenario. There was a kidnapper that we were able to talk to leave kidnapping, and this kidnapper has the whole total network of the whole kidnappers in FCT, in Niger State, in Nasarawa State, up to Ondo State, Zamfara. He calls them, he talks to them. I have took him to the former commissioner of police of FCT. Nothing was done. Even the army, nothing was done, because we were saying, okay, before this thing came to this level, before this insecurity came to this level, we were trying to finish this thing. In fact, I have written to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to give NESO 3 months 3 months to clear FCT and to clear from FCT to Kaduna, Niger, Zamfara, Kebbi and Kaduna. 3 months to clear this place of all related kidnapping cases and banditry. But I want to say something. Excuse me, please. It's very important. Okay. Right from Jonathan's regime, we've been talking on television. Yes.
Jonathan's administration.
Administration. We've been talking on television, on radio, that the first in contact with terrorists are the headers. And they are easily polarized. They are easily brainwashed. They will now become there will be another new form of insecurity starting from that place.
In other words, you are saying that you foresee the banditry that we now have.
We said it over 10 years ago.
Over 10 years ago. So maybe we will continue with that discussion when we take a short break. Viewers, thank you for staying with us. We'll be taking a minute. When we come back, we'll look at the link between bandits and terrorists and how that is threatening the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Stay with us. If you're just joining us, this is Daily Politics on Trust TV. And today, we're talking about the state of insecurity in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Dr. Sani, before we went on the break, you were saying that you had foreseen and early warning signals that there's some kind of contact between bandits and herdsmen, and terrorists at the time.
Yes, the issue is very simple. Is we didn't know herdsmen, we didn't know bandits at the time I was talking.
Which year was that?
This over 10 years ago. I was telling the country, the people of the country and the security agencies in the country, those that care to listen, that the first in contact with Boko Haram terrorists are the headers in the bush. It is easier for them to brainwash the headers, or in cases where they refuse to get brainwashed, they will kill them and carry their cows and then pretend as headers and start spreading all over the country. And this is going to be a very serious problem for Nigeria. I've been warning, we've been talking, we've been shouting on this, on television, on radio, the records are there. Nobody was giving us a listening ear. So today, this is the problem we are talking about.
Certainly. So, Malam Mahmoud, the minister of the FCT, what role does he, as a civilian person, unlike the executive governor of a state who is elected? Governor Masari once said that even they who are elected, they are like chief logistics officer rather than chief security officer. So what can the minister do to ensure security? How is he situated within the security network of the FCT?
Well, I can say vividly that Musa Muhammad Bello, since inception as minister, has been holding...
Not necessarily this particular minister.
For any minister.
Yes.
Yes, the previous ministers and even the sitting ones and maybe the incoming ones, the tax they can put in place to curb this menace of kidnap-related cases and banditry and others is by capacitating already. There is what you call ministerial joint task force.
Okay.
This ministerial joint task force, they normally patrol against one chance menace. Itato, there used to be incessant cases of one chance where you bought vehicle along the way, they go and dispossess you. Sometimes some people lose their lives to that. This ministerial task force, which headquartered in Uye there, they have composition of the VIO, road safety, DSS, army, police, as well as civil defense and others. And they have their spread across. But the issues are, you cannot expect personnel and officers to act without certain logistics. Most of the problems these teams face is problem of welfare, packages and other. Even the areas of some of the operations they did, we had to come on air to fight as people that defend the forts and rights of the people. So to say there is already a team in the Federal Capital Territory, but the issues are certain people are playing politics with how to execute these acts. Nothing stops this ministerial task force from collaborating with outposts at this border outposts in the FCT, divisional headquarters, area command, and also others, because most of the times they rely on either DSS command headquarters for directives, police headquarters for directives, or army headquarters, garrison, or the guards brigades and others. And sometimes, once it is happening in Tungamaji, for the information to get to the CP monitoring, to get to either the Mopo squad or counter-terrorism squad of the command, is too late. So that is why this ministerial taxing, beyond just apprehending unpainted taxi, fighting against one-chance menace, they needed to be capacitated, since there are representations from all the security agencies in FCT, so that, like my brother said, if there are advanced training, they needed to be given in line with curbing kidnap-related cases and banditry, or that can be done. Then, above all, we now have what you call the police trust fund. The police trust fund, I believe, are going to have are going to have structures in states, so that of the FCT can take off immediately, where the minister, alongside multinational companies, because we know the government alone cannot fund security, but other multinational companies like MTN, Globalcom, Julius Baja, and host of others, including those of the production companies operating in Abuja, can be taxed to give their contributions, because once you have insecurity, there can be production. Without security, you can't have development. Therefore, the FCT minister now need to capacitate that ministerial task force. Above all the regiments of the police, of the army, of the navy, of the air force, of the civil defense, of the immigration, custom, civil defense, including road safety and VL, needs to come together and purchase flight hour time drones that can have flight hour of like 8 and also others, because like he said, without technology you cannot use only combat execution against kidnap related armed banditry to achieve result. World over today, they rely on modern intelligence gathering gadgets. You can see the most shameful thing now. Let me say this before I conclude. The whole Nigerian police has no cyber working, because they couldn't pay. It's only that of the Nigerian Air Force that they use sometimes, which is shameful to a nation, for a larger Nigerian police force that has the highest intelligence gathering network, that is called Force Criminal Investigation Intelligence Bureau, as well as other states chapters.
Thank you. Dr. Sani, there was this, I think sometime earlier this year or sometime last year, the governor of Niger State, he raised the alarm, and just 2 or 3 months ago, there was this news in the newspapers that remnants of Boko Haram or ISWAP, they have raised their flag in some local government areas in Niger State. That's just less than 100 kilometers away from Abuja. Does that pose any threat to the security in the FCT? Well,
I think it's an understatement to say that the FCT is under threat. It's very much under threat. I think the whole of this situation need to be taken by a holistic approach. We cannot deal with this situation where we have over 1,050 Nigerian porous borders, 1,050 open borders, armaments of all sorts comes in, people of all shade and comes into the country without any due check. Nobody is doing anything. How much is the population of immigration? How can they cover Nigeria? You see, Nigeria has a problem, and I think what the government need to do is not only Abuja. Abuja is just a place in Nigeria. We have every Nigerian life should be placed a high premium. To lose a life in Nigeria, life in Nigeria is not as valued as food any longer. Food is more valued now than life in Nigeria, because it's easier for you to waste a life than to get a food. So I think the government should place a premium to Nigerians' life, and to do that, we must wake up from our slumber. The government, everybody is sleeping. Nobody is doing anything. I am not surcharging anybody. I'm just stating the fact as it is. We need to put high premium in Nigerians' life, and then we need to wake up in our sleeping, in our slumber. Our Nigerian borders, we need to secure all our borders, and then come inward and start fighting this thing inward. Of course, ISIS, Boko Haram are still very much around. All these bandits, they are just blandishing bandits. 99% of them are terrorists. Forget about the names you are giving them. They have been trained by this Boko Haram. It gives me a lot of pain when I see us deviating from the simple truth. I have said this over 10 years. Truth? The simple truth is, over 10 years ago, I've said it, that Boko Haram will brainwash a lot of other innocent citizens to be part of them. And they will come up in another brandish names. Over 10 years ago, I've been stating this thing. And so if you say somebody is a bandit, and a bandit can blow up a flying jet, and a bandit is just fighting without, he doesn't have an address. First of all, we must understand, what is a terrorist? A terrorist is that person that is fighting the government without address, and you cannot locate him. He doesn't have a face. Does a bandit has a face? No. Does he has an address? No. Is he fighting who? He's fighting government.
So
by killing the citizens, by putting pressure on the citizens.
I'll be taking
the same thing.
I'll be taking you up on that. There was also these ideas, these kidnappers that were arrested. Thankfully, they were arrested who kidnapped lecturers at the University of Abuja recently. They were saying that one of the reasons why they have moved to Abuja is because there is no network in the other places where they have been, in the northwestern states and some of the north central states. Is that encouraging banditry or bandits or kidnappers and abductors to move into the FCT?
That is not a defense. I think it was just gimmick.
Okay.
Because like you said, there have been intelligence reports regarding fleeing Boko Haram insurgents from the northeastern part of the country, as well as armed bandits from the northwestern part of states like Katsina and Zamfara. Yeah. But a lot of intelligence arm of the Defense Intelligence Agency, the Army, Navy, Air Force, Police, and others ignored it. And this fire brigade approach to issue also made this to rise to the top. Initially, when there were skeletal kidnap related cases in Gwagwalada, Tungamaje, a lot of people, I know how many times when residents of Tungamaje will put a call to me, and I will call the Special Tactical Squad. Sometimes they will tell you we will take action. Many a times I will call the intelligence response team of Abakari, then now that of Tunde Idisu, to no response. The issues also are, there are conspiracies and compromise at the part of security agencies. There are some of the corrupt officers who are also feeding fat from these operations of these insurgents as well as armed bandits.
When somebody is making statements about compromise and serious particularly in media like this, he requires evidence.
There are glaring evidences.
Let me finish.
Yes.
Evidence that cannot be made available on the show right now. So I think we would. The main thing is, he said something very significant. I think even Nigerians will be interested in that. We no longer value life. That even food is now, human life is cheaper than food. That people waste life in a way that they don't even waste food again. So if we wanted to change that from that, what kind of changes it will require to have a situation where life is valued in the country again?
Bring up social security. Okay. Then enhance human capacity building, just like our counterparts in the United States of America. For every American, they wake up to say, God bless America. What are the reasons? There is a social security in place. There is human capacity building. Today, rather than upholding human capacity building, we are destroying, we are killing. Today, the able-bodied youths wants to enlist into arms of the armed forces. They get there, they ask them, do you have a note from a senator, House of Rep member, governor, retired commissioner, police general? They ought not to be. Today, they have abused a lot of funds. These frustrations have created this. Secondly, drug abuse. You go into our society today, both male and female folks at younger age are taking drugs, from codeine to weed to cocaine to rochi to Totalin and host of others. And the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency that is in charge of that enforcement is given less than 500 million as allocation. That is conspiracy.
Dr. Sani, is there any connection, because you do this neighborhood, you're closer to the grassroots, is there any connection between drugs and rising, things like banditry and crime in the Abuja environs?
Well, when you speak, when we reduce our activities to Abuja, you will like to say that I don't really see connectivity in that area, truly speaking.
So those who are doing drugs are separate
when
from those who are doing kidnapping?
When you are talking Abuja, don't say, I'm not talking about Nigeria, I'm talking about Abuja. The major thing that is happening here, the guys that are doing all this sort of heinous crime of kidnapping and all this are not per se Abuja citizens. They are not. They are all visitors. They all came. They are not the children or the youth of Abuja. No. If there are youth of Abuja, they are just informants. They give their information, because nobody can come to your house and kidnap you without information. What happened at Gwagwalada University of Abuja was based on information. There are informants that give informations. Now, at that level, those informants may be having drug-related cases, because a drugger will always like to get drugs no matter what it's going to cost. He doesn't care. If it's only for him to give an information, I will be giving 1,000 naira or 2,000 naira to buy drugs. Why not? I have seen a kidnapper that they were giving ransom of over 50 million naira, but what he got was just 3,000 naira as his own, and they were the main players. They were the one who went and kidnapped. They were giving 3,000 naira. You understand? So, and those 3,000 naira were for what? Were for drugs. Because, of course, if they are not high, they wouldn't be doing what they are doing. They wouldn't be that maskless. So you cannot take away drugs from this issue of supporting dangerous criminality. You cannot take away drugs from that place. But to say that if you want to reduce it to Abuja, you now look at and focus on Abuja and see what kind of youths do we have in Abuja. Majorly, they are Gwaris. And Gwaris, they are more interested in their farming than any other thing. If you want to take Abuja youths, for instance, they are very clean. 78 to 80% of Abuja youth are very, very clean.
As in, they don't engage in crime?
No, they are farmers. Okay. They want farming. They are Gwaris. 80% of them they are Gwaris, so they like farming, and the other percentage go to the other local distant tribes are here. So if you want to give it to Abuja boys, they are clean. They are interested in their farmers. I have in my organization, we have over 3,000 Abuja youths in my organization here in Abuja, and I see all of them as clean, as responsible as possible.
What about non-Gwari youths who live in Abuja?
Because most of them have their farms. They go to their farming. Some of them do menial jobs as bricklayers and all this. They are very serious with life. When they come for the organization training and so on and so forth, you can see the seriousness in them. You can hardly see anybody.
Non-Gwari youths who live here, because this is a center of unity.
But when you are talking about a population, you talk about the highest percentage of the membership of that group. Okay. So the highest percentage of the membership of the youths in Abuja are Gwari boys. You understand what I'm saying? They are the local. We are talking about what is happening in our localities, the heinous crimes that are being perpetrated. If you look at Gwagwalada is not the the metropolitan of Abuja. Is one of the suburban of Abuja. You want to take Abaji, you want to take Kwali. These are suburbans.
Yes, Mr. Mahmoud, it's nice that you raised that issue about suburban and metropolitan. How are the two linked in terms of security threat? Because whereas the suburban Abuja, they are facing these challenges. The metropolitan Abuja, that issue has not yet come up. People still leave their offices at 11 p.m., at 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. and go home and will get to their homes safely. But in the metropolitan, in the suburban areas like Gogolada, Abaji, Kuje, and other areas, that can be quite risky. So what are the links between them?
When you observe especially the headquarters of the 6 area councils,
yes,
like Kuje, you will find out right now as I'm talking to you, there are contingent of mobile police force stationed over time in a forest for that purpose, because there has been that kidnap related cases, but the attention was not taken so serious by the authorities that need to tackle the issue.
So what are those authorities?
The authorities is the police eye authorities, as well as the Department of State Services and others. The issues are here within the metropolis. There used to be skeletal criminalities like one chance syndrome, as well as robbery, because even by Jabi Bridge here, I know the chief detail of one of the organization, first grade parastatals, that closed from work by 11. He was waylaid and they took away his vehicle. It was intervention of the control room that made the robbers to abandon. So within the metropolis, we used to have cases of one chance. Yes. If you ask the ministerial tax person where, they will tell you we used to also have skeletal robbery and host of others. But issues of kidnapping are outskirts, majorly under Kuje Area Council. It happened under Buhari Area Council, as well as Kwali Area Council also. The reasons are, if you look at the DSS, if you go to their area councils, maybe you have 3 personnel that are representing the state command of the DSS there. The only place you have personnel and officers in their numerical strength are the divisional headquarters or the area command. Like in Gwagwalada, for instance, you have the police area command. You also have a divisional headquarters, where you have the metro command here that is also in charge of Kubwa. When you want to also observe most of the criminality, there are places that are close to other states, like Rubochi, Kuje, for instance. There are routes you can pass via Abaji and enter Kogi State. So also that of Buhari, there are routes you can pass and go to Kaduna. So I think the shortage of manpower of the security personnel made this criminality, especially of kidnapping related cases, to gear up over time.
So that's a nice one. But you were saying earlier, Doctor, that security, not just the informants, that there is this network of informants that help to provide information to criminals and so on. And this is an issue that's been going on even in places like Niger State, in places like Zamfara, Sokoto, Kebbi, where people are saying that indeed it is these informants that are in fact helping to sustain banditry, that are helping to sustain these criminal abductions that are going on. So being a neighborhood organization, to what extent do you think the general situation in the FCT poses that threat that maybe in the next coming weeks we'll be having informants give information to bandits?
Well, if you look at the composition of the FCT, why is crime not felt in the metropolis of FCT? It is because FCT is a center in and center out. In the morning, everybody is at the center. By evening, everybody has gone home. So the center is let free. Nothing is happening in the center. So criminals understood that clearly, and if they come to the center, who will they come and get? For instance, we are talking of insecurity. The other time, before they started stationing vehicle at the villa, when we are coming out of the villa at the major road opposite head of service, there was a robbery there. A friend of mine was coming out from the villa. He just wait for the traffic in the evening around 7. He was robbed. It was the same me that took during the former IG.
You cannot get metropolitan than that.
This is what I'm telling you.
That's the heart of the town.
That is the presidency.
Yes.
That is the presidency.
Absolutely.
There was robbery there. It was same me that shot out, and then the police started stationing vehicles in that place. You understand what I'm saying? So, if Abuja, the congestion in the center in the evening is gone. So, and mainly people that are coming into the center in the morning are those people from the suburbs. They work in the center. Everybody's centralized in the morning. And by evening, everybody decentralized. So you may not get that kind of cases inside Abuja, in the center of Abuja, because there are very few people that stay in the center.
Thank you,
gentlemen. However, we need to, the Abuja, the Minister of FCT must wake up too. There must be, if the others don't do, he must create something that is new. You don't wait for anybody to come and tell you what to do. You don't wait for crime to come into your house before you take a position. It is during peace that you prepare for war. Okay. But what we do in this country is to wait for the war to come and meet us before we start preparing for war. We need to prepare during peace for war. So I'm calling on this Minister of FCT not to wait for things that are happening in the states to enter into FCT, because they are very close to entering now. It is time for him now to wake up and become active. Docility is not acceptable where the president is, because this is the house of the president. And the whole world, the interest of the total community, international community, is focused on Abuja. The moment Abuja is not safe, Nigeria is declared not safe.
Well, but let's hope that it still remains safe. So we're coming to almost to the very end of the program now. So maybe for a final question, maybe we go back to where we were starting. How would insecurity in the federal capital affect insecurity in the rest of the country?
Once it goes wrong here, it's already going wrong in other parts of the country, and it has started touching the FCT. So what needed to be done here is for intelligence gathering to be enhanced, synergy promoted, then logistics, because sometimes we talk, we don't also know that members of these security agencies are also human like us. They have blood flowing in them. In a situation where there is segregation among the commissioned officers and the personnel, and these lower ranks in the police, you call them rank and file, in the armed forces and others, you call them other ranks, where the take-home package allowances differs from those of their higher echelons. You don't get the best. Where a chap is taken for field operation, he carries out the field operation, and you are not giving him take-home package, welfare. What do you expect? What needed to be done above the FCT minister? We have the chiefs of army, naval, air, defense staff, controller generals of paramilitary agencies, inspector general police, director general, DSS, NIA. They can also lend hands of support because they have budgetary allocation. It is so much according to funding. It is so much on.
Dr. Sani, as a last word, do you share the same view?
Well, not yes, I shared, but to just add to what he's saying, we don't know whether the NSA still exists in this country. The NSA has been very uncoordinating. We don't see the work of the NSA, because if we have NSA in Nigeria, I should have known him. He should have been interested.
But the whole point of having it is so that it's not known to the public.
No, NSA is supposed to be the coordinator of security, internet security. Every security, whether you are from the NGO, wherever you are coming
the national
from,
security,
the national security advisor.
He's there. You mentioned him earlier.
I just know it by name,
okay,
but I don't know whether the man is working or whether it's even existing. This is what I'm saying. I'm not fearing him. I'm not fearing anybody, because my love for Nigeria is going beyond an individual interest. So what I'm saying, yes, the NSA is not doing what it's supposed to do. We don't know whether we have Nigerian government has NSA. If he feels challenged, let him wake up and let him call.
Many in his office will not agree with what you're saying, but let him call. We're ending it here.
Let people know. Let people like us know.
We're ending it here. Thank you. So thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the show. This is where we have come to the end of today's program. Thank you for staying with us, and do join us again same time tomorrow for yet another episode of Daily Politics. I am Suleiman. Enjoy your day.